All right, so welcome to another Deep Dive. And today we're looking at the Book of the Future, which is interesting already because it's version 0.1.0.
Ooh, yeah.
So it kind of feels like we're getting like a sneak peek at a work in progress.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, I mean, 0.1.0 really does suggest that this is just the beginning.
Right.
The first step of something much, much bigger. Makes you wonder where this project is going.
Yeah. What's he going to come up with next, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of interesting, the author is quite a character himself.
Oh, yeah.
Vladimir Levadny.
Yeah.
And he's a general diverse worker in the Teknokomo community.
It's such a cool title.
I know, it's very quirky, isn't it? What does that even mean?
Well, it's like, general handyman, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Like a jack of all trades.
Interesting.
A real tinkerer, a builder.
Yeah.
And then when you add in the fact that he's the chairman of the Soviet Robots Production Cooperative,
Wow.
you get a sense of, just how unconventional this guy is.
Yeah, definitely. So what's this book all about? Well, Levadny is, he's on a mission to save the world.
Okay.
And his weapon of choice?
Games.
Yeah. Specifically MMOs.
Oh, wow.
Massive multiplayer online worlds, or Universo MOMM, as he calls it.
Universo MMM.
Yeah. And he sees these virtual worlds as like a way to tackle real-world problems.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about, escaping reality.
Oh, right.
It's about using games to actually solve problems.
Exactly. And these challenges, according to Levadny, they're rooted in what he calls tenekomization.
Tenekomization? That's a mouthful.
Yeah, well, it's a term he coined.
Okay.
To describe this like technological and social transformation spearheaded by the Teknokomo community.
Right. So technokomization is basically his blueprint for the future.
Yeah.
It's like his vision for how technology can empower people,
Right.
create a more just and equitable society.
And he sees Omsk as like the center of this transformation.
Okay.
Using frameworks like the Omsk Consensus and his Omsk Capital of the World meta project.
Wow. He's really got this whole thing mapped out.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
But, every good story needs a villain.
Right.
And in Levadny's narrative, it's interesting because it takes kind of two forms.
Oh.
He's got the real-world villain, and then he's got the villain in his virtual universe.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So in reality, he points to the imperialist fascist Satan as the root of all these global problems.
Okay.
And in his virtual world, this evil is embodied by the Aborgi.
The Aborti. Now, who are they?
Well, they're described as like these cybernetic descendants of like morally corrupt individuals who got driven from Earth to other planets.
Interesting.
So they represent like the forces of oppression,
Okay.
exploitation, everything Levadny's fighting against.
Gotcha. So he's got the real world villains and then he's got the virtual villain.
Exactly. And who does he see as like the key to fighting these forces? Young people.
Interesting.
He believes that their passion, idealism, and willingness to challenge the status quo are essential for creating a better future.
So he sees young people as like the hope for the future.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool.
It is. And he also acknowledges this widespread fear of robots and technology.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which he attributes to like negative media portrayals that are, designed to keep us afraid and controlled.
Right, keep us in the dark.
Right. And he uses this great example, a simple tomato sorting robot, to illustrate how even harmless machines can be perceived as threats.
That's a good point. It's like our perceptions are often shaped by these narratives that don't always reflect reality.
Exactly. Now, to really get a handle on Levadny's vision, we need to dive into the Omskiverse.
The Omskiverse, what's that?
Well, it's basically his framework for understanding multiple universes, with Omsk at the center.
Whoa, okay.
So think of it like a cosmic map where different realities are like intersecting and interacting.
Multiverse stuff. I like it.
It is kind of mind-bending.
Yeah.
But it's central to his worldview.
Okay, so the Omskiverse is like the key to understanding his whole vision. All right, I'm starting to get the big picture here.
Good. And he's not just theorizing. He believes in taking action.
Okay.
Building a concrete foundation for his vision.
All right, how does he do that?
Well, that's where this concept of a minimum viable product, or MVP, comes into play.
MVP. Okay, I've heard that term before.
Yeah. And this MVP for his Universo MEM isn't just about building a game.
Right.
It's about creating a platform for change.
Okay.
A space where people can collaborate, experiment, and, build solutions for a better future.
That's ambitious.
It is. And as we mentioned earlier, the fact that he's labeling this book as version 0.1.0 suggests this is just the first step in a much larger journey.
Yeah, he's just getting started.
It seems like it.
And it's fascinating how he breaks down this MVP into 4 key components.
Yeah.
You've got the Universo MNM.
Right, the game itself.
Exactly. Then there's Universal Platformo for building these metaverse experiences.
Oh, cool.
And of course, the Universo Engine, the underlying technology.
Mm-hmm.
And then Universo Siriuso.
What's that?
That's like the back-end system for managing the game resources, the users, all that stuff.
Oh, wow. So it's like a whole ecosystem.
Exactly. It's layered, you know, creates this immersive and impactful virtual world.
Okay, and it's within that world that he wants to bring people together.
Right.
To collaborate, innovate, build a better future.
Mm-hmm. He even talks about a feature called Cyberplan.
Oh, what's that?
Where players can design real-world products within the game.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So it's like crowdsourcing the future.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to tap into the collective intelligence, the creativity of people all over the world.
Man, it's a pretty bold idea.
It is. It really challenges how we think about work and play.
And problem solving.
Absolutely.
But let's go back to these Aborgi for a second.
Okay.
Because Levadny paints this pretty stark picture of them.
Yeah.
Both in his virtual world and then with this whole imperialist, fascist, Satan thing in the real world.
Right. It's intense.
It is. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to highlight these dangers of unchecked power, greed, and how technology can be exploited.
So the Aborgi are like a symbol of that.
Exactly. They represent what he sees as these forces that are, you know, threatening humanity.
Interesting. And in the real world, he's not afraid to like name names.
No, he's not.
He calls out specific groups, institutions.
He definitely doesn't hold back.
No, he doesn't.
Right.
And that can be controversial.
Oh, for sure. Not everyone agrees on the causes of these problems.
Right. Or how to solve them.
Exactly.
But even if you don't agree with everything he says,
I
think his message is clear.
What's that?
That we need to be aware of the potential for technology to be used for both good and evil.
Absolutely. We can't just be passive.
Right.
We need to shape the future we want.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the Omskaver.
Right. The multiple universes.
Yeah.
Different realities.
It's a mind-bending concept.
It is. But I'm starting to see how it all fits together. Yeah. It's like he's created this laboratory for the future.
Right.
A virtual space where we can explore possibilities, test out solutions, learn from our mistakes.
All without any real-world consequences.
Yeah. We can make better decisions that way.
So it's not about escaping reality.
Right.
It's about using these virtual worlds to shape our own reality.
Exactly. He sees a strong connection between the two.
Okay.
What we learn in the virtual world can have real-world impact.
So it's like a giant sandbox for the future.
Yeah.
You can play around,
experience,
build something amazing.
I like that. A giant sandbox for the future.
But remember, this is just version 1.0.
Right, right.
So what does that tell us about the future of the book of the future itself?
Well, it tells us that this is just the beginning.
Okay.
He's inviting us on this journey with him.
Right.
There's room for this whole thing to grow and change.
That's exciting.
It is. And he's open to new ideas, feedback.
So he wants us to join the conversation.
Exactly. He wants us to help shape the future.
And who knows what he'll come up with next, right?
Who knows? This could be completely different in the next version.
It's exciting to think about all the possibilities.
Absolutely.
So we spent some time with this book.
We have.
And it's clear that Levadny is a
big thinker.
Yeah, he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Definitely not. But it's interesting how he brings together this technological vision with a sense of spirituality.
Right, like a human purpose.
Exactly. He's not just talking about gadgets and games. He wants to create a future that aligns with our values.
Yeah, he keeps talking about building a world guided by love.
Right, which sounds idealistic.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I think he's pointing us towards something...
a more compassionate future.
Exactly, more humane.
Yeah. And he gives us these practical steps.
Yeah, he does.
Like outlining how we can actually build this future.
Through collaboration, innovation, challenging our assumptions.
And this technokomization thing keeps coming up.
Yeah, it's a big part of his vision.
This transformation driven by technology and community.
It's like he's creating a new language.
Yeah, almost.
A new way to think about how humans and tech interact.
And he's not just describing it.
Right.
He's trying to shape it.
Through his writing, his projects.
The Teknokomo community.
He wants us to be part of it.
He does. He wants us to contribute.
It's all connected. The technokomization, the Omskaverse, the Aborgi.
Right. It's all part of this big story.
And it's all rooted in this belief that we can create a better future.
Or just
sustainable for everyone. And this book, this version, 0.1.0.
It's like a starting point.
Yeah, he's sharing his vision.
Inspiring others.
To join him.
On this journey.
It's inspiring even if some of it is.
That's there.
Yeah, a little bit. But this Omskriverse modeling thing is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to use it to understand
the evolution of humanity.
Yeah, and to explore
different paths, right? Like a simulator for the future.
I like that. A simulator.
We can experiment.
See what happens.
Learn from it.
Better choices.
And who knows what he'll come up with next.
Right. This is just 0.1.0.
You could change everything.
Add new things.
Explore new concepts.
It's exciting.
I'm hooked.
Me too.
I want to see where he takes this.
What he comes up with next.
Yeah, it's like he's opened this door.
To a new way of thinking about the future.
Exactly.
And that's what's so great about these deep dives.
Yeah.
It's not about finding all the answers.
Right.
It's about asking questions.
Challenging assumptions.
Exploring new possibilities.
Exactly. Maybe some of our listeners will
start
writing their own book of the future.
That'd be awesome.
So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back next time with another deep dive.
Can't wait.
Until then, keep those minds open.
And keep exploring.